Morning. So welcome. We're glad to have you here today. Happy Tuesday. For most of you anyway, it's Happy Tuesday. So this is Dynamic Distance Learning with Microsoft's tools, and I have some others built into this as well. So I'm really excited you're here to join us today. And we're going to go through these different tools, and sometimes you'll be just watching me do some things and talking, and other times you're going to be participating. So I'm going to take a second and show the screen in a minute to show you the best way to participate while we're doing this. But let me go on and just tell you who I am. So I'm Julene Reed. I'm in Memphis, Tennessee, and we are so excited to have you here with Q and Microsoft with these great activities that we're doing with Global Tech Academy. So we've had all kinds of sessions we're presenting. We have office hours we're giving. So lots of great things are happening. And so today we're going to talk about how do you engage your students when you're doing distance learning? How do you keep it active and how do you engage them? And honestly, it doesn't matter if it's distance learning, blended learning, or in your classroom where you're integrating technology. You want to use things that really engage them. So we're going to be playing with some tools today and learning which ones are out there, some of the basic ones. I've also given you some resources, and you'll be able to download these slides after the presentation, so you don't need to be taking notes. You'll have the PDF of all these slides for you to watch. So moving right along, let me just kind of go on with the slideshow here. So we really want to think about how we want to engage and motivate our students to maximize the learning, because if they're engaged and motivated, you're going to see better learning outcomes as well. So stopping for a second with my screen sharing, I'm just going to stop that. And there are a couple things you can do where you see my name. If you hover over it, you'll see 3 dots that will let you pin me. So if you see 3 dots, you can then pin me so that my screen will be the one you see. And that works out really well, especially when I'm presenting. You can pin the screen where I'm presenting. And then what you'll want to do when we start doing things, and let me share my whole screen. And so here's my desktop. So when we start presenting and we're in a browser, like we'll pretend like here's our team that we're in. This is how we got to our calendar meeting today, was right here. And then maybe we have this here. We can pull that over and make it smaller. And then if we have a browser window, such as this one, which is just my OneDrive, I can pull that browser window over, make it smaller, and I can put them side by side. And that way you'll be able to be working while I'm also demonstrating, and I won't be postage stamp size. So you want to just find a way to arrange your desktop if you don't have 2 monitors so that you can see both things at the same time. So I wanted to be sure and share that with you. And then I'm going to go back to our PowerPoint here. And we're going to talk about this some more. So this is my whole desktop. So it's going to get messy, but it's going to be the best way for me to share things with you at this point. So if you watch now what we just talked about, let me get my other slideshow up here where I'm also watching the chat and everything. So right here, we're talking about engaging and motivating students. And one of the things that we found the most that is really important for our students when we're doing this type of distance learning is that we think about continuing our relationships. For students, relationships are the crux of school. This is their social network. This is where they interact with each other. So we really want them to be able to have those relationships even if we're not there together in person. So anything you can do to continue building relationships with your students, whether it's group work or peer work where they're have a buddy that they're working with, is really important. And then also those relationships with you, having times to touch base, having office hours, different things you can do to touch base with them are important. And then that social emotional part. This has been hard for the kids. It's hard for us and it's been hard for the kids. And sometimes they hide it really well, but how do we support them socially, emotionally? And the final thing is, let's make it fun. And that's what some of these engaging and motivating activities do, and these tools we can use, because it makes learning fun when you're using those. And that's how you engage them, making them fun, authentic, and meeting them where they are in the world that they're living with technology on a daily basis, because this is, between their friends at school and then the technology they're using, those are the ways we can bring those together is how we're going to capitalize on our relationships and build that motivation. And so when you're building your different sessions and you're thinking about tools, you have to think first, is this going to be synchronous or is it going to be asynchronous? And for most of these tools, they'll work both ways. It doesn't matter. But if you are going to be, and nobody knows yet, but if you are going to be, some of us are going to be together in person. Some of us are going to be, face to face with all our kids. Some are going to have half the students, while half are watching at home. Some maybe will be all the way back to everybody's at home again, all distance learning. And we're not going to know that till we get a little farther down the road, but be thinking about which way you're going to be teaching and being sure that you're keeping them motivated and that you're supporting the social, emotional, and the relationships. And so I just gave a few tips before we get into the actual tools, and it's make that communication two-way. Don't talk to the students, but talk with them. I think it's really important that we're having conversations with the students as well as talking to them. And then look at those group projects. What group projects can you do? What kinds of things you can do with the group projects? Have open office hours for them. How are they going to contact you? They can't always hold up their hand. So how are they going to contact you if they need some help? And so that's really important too. And then have time built into your lessons of video conferencing where you can actually connect with them and have fun and just talk to them and learn about different things that are going on in their worlds, rather than just simply, always making it about business. Make it about fun too. Have fun Fridays or dress up like your favorite sports days. And the other thing is keep your students' environments in mind. So they may have been at a home where they're kind of embarrassed for you to see where they live or for their friends to see where they live. And so helping guide them into backing up to a wall. There may be a lot of noise and distractions in their homes, having them wear earbuds or headphones, thinking about turning off their video if they want to. You'd like to have that video connection at the beginning of your meeting at least, and at the end, and then in the middle you may not have it because you want to save bandwidth. And you want the focus on you and not each other. So finding good ways to do that, but be cognizant that sometimes there are things happening at home that make it a little more difficult. And then have those fun themes, like I said, do anything to get them online. One teacher said her students would not come online because they were worried about their home environment. So what she did was she had a blanket day. And on blanket day, they all got to put a blanket over a chair or a table, and this was elementary. But she said the day they had tent day, they called it tent day, and they had blankets and covered up a chair and hid under them. Everybody showed up. But for older students too, just like dress like something, wear 60s clothes today. Let's have a karaoke time. Let's have a sing along, a dance party. Let's all take selfies, whatever. But mixing it up. Do things differently. Don't do the same thing every day, but having some variety is awesome. That gets them excited about coming, so it's not the same thing every day. Whether it's the same activity that you're doing synchronously or different kinds of assignments that you're doing. And then have interactive projects as well. So what kinds of interactive projects can you have where they're actively learning too? So be thinking about that. And then what educational games, there are a lot of gamification you can do now, which is really exciting for them. Things like Kahoot is a gamification, but lots of tools for gamification. And then as you're mixing things up, think about your choices. Is it going to be no tech tomorrow? Or today? Are we going to draw a book cover and do things that are really physical and not necessarily using technology at all? Because those are important as well. Or are we going to do low tech? Maybe they go outside and look for things in their yard or around their house that are right angles and take pictures of them and then put them in a slideshow to kind of demonstrate right angles in the real world. Or I'm just giving examples here. Or make a slide deck like this says with 5 images and descriptions from the novel that you just read that would depict the mood of the novel. Or they can do high tech, like a book trailer or a video or something like that too. So lots of ways you can do that. But I do think it's very important, as I said before, that we support the groups and that social emotional learning, and that we're really supporting that group work with each other. And then also, if it's not a whole group, maybe having a partner for different things. And that works really well. I know I have taught K through 12 for over 25 years as a classroom teacher, science coordinator, tech coordinator, director of academic technology, in a middle school and high school, and I've been in elementary. I've been in charge and implemented a one-to-one computing initiative for 17 years in a middle school, high school. I've done lots of different roles, and I teach graduate students through blended learning, or actually it's all synchronous and asynchronous online learning, distance learning. And even in that, they find great strength in having cadres or cohorts or groups in which they're working. So that really does help them support each other. And then during your lessons, if you are engaged for a while online, get them to stand up and move. You know, let's stand up for 5 minutes and let's all take a break. We've been doing this for 20 minutes. Let's stand up and do an exercise or dance to a song and sit back down. Or there's a couple tools you can use, Go Noodle and Super Movers. And those will help you. Super Movers, I think, is aimed more inclusively towards all ages students up to the older ones. Or Go Noodle, I think, is more for the younger students. But you might look at those too for ideas of how to get kids up and moving, because right now there's so many are just engaged by sitting and looking at their devices. And we want to get them out in the outdoors as much as they can they can safely do. We want to get them up and moving, so not everything is just sitting all day long. And then, like I said, have it fun. Have it be fun. So make it fun, but keep your focus as you're doing these. And as we go through these today and we're looking at these tools, keep your focus on your learning goals and your objectives. What is the purpose? What are the essential understandings you want your students to learn or acquire? And then take that essential understanding and backwards design it like Grant Wiggins talked about years ago. So what do I need to do to get my students to this point, and what tools can help support that, can help engage them more, can help provide better learning outcomes, make it more active, and get them excited and motivated. So don't lose sight of what the big goal is. Don't focus just on the tool, but focus on how that tool can support teaching and learning. So the first thing we're going to do is go to Padlet. So if you would right now, what I'd like you to do is go to this Padlet down here. And this is where you'll want to open a browser window. And I think most of you are at the beginning, but I told you you could move the side of your browser window over, whatever you're looking at right now. Just grab the side of it. Didn't want to go there. Move it over, and then you can go get your other browser. I mean, you can get your browser window. This would be your Teams, and then I can get my browser window open right here on the other side. And it doesn't matter if it's on the left or right. I probably would have done this backwards, but it's already here. So you want to be able to see what I'm doing on one side of the screen, and you want to be able to go to this Padlet on the other. And so I'd like to see if you can get there. I'd like to see if I see anybody in here typing. When you get to a Padlet, if you've never done a Padlet before, and let me show you what it is. I want to make sure you have editing permission, because I think I said it that way. You need to have a password. I think I gave it a password, and I think it's GETA for the password. So if it's asking you for a password, let's just do GETA. I believe that's what I put on it, just all lowercase. And let's see if we can see anybody coming in. Let me look at my dashboard and make sure that's what I did. That's fine. Here's today's Padlet. That was my dashboard. I'm just going to look one more time. And I want to see how I shared this one or modify it. Let me just make sure I did it right. So here I am, and these are the different things. This is what Padlet looks like when you create it. So I've given it a title. I've given it a prompt. This is how do you make the learning dynamic and fun? Add your name and where you were from. And I have a URL that I shortened with bit.ly. I have a color scheme, all those types of things. Comments, reactions, it doesn't take approvals. Posting, attribution. So I have all these different ways I can do it. And then in share, I believe I said that it was public, and if not, I'll change this really quickly. And let me just copy this link and put it in the chat for you too. I want to see if you're having trouble getting in there, because I think somebody, do I type in the bit.ly or how do I get on it? So if you go to our browser window, somebody's in there. Yay, Monique is there. So it's set correctly. If you open a browser window and type in bit.ly.com/active2learn, just like I have it there, bit.ly/active2learn, then that should take you right over here to Padlet. So I'm going to open this for a second, I want to check one thing here for my participants because I should be able to. Alrighty, just wanted to check one more little thing here. Alrighty, so let me get back to, oops, didn't mean to do that. This. So right now, if you get the Padlet, and let me see if you're having trouble. Let me just type it in here too. HTTP:// the password is GETA, GETA, GETA. bitly.com/active2learn. There you go. And the password is GETA. And so here you are. Now I'm seeing you. Hi, Monique. Hi, Corinne. Or Corrine, however you pronounce it. And when you're here, you'll have a prompt for your students. And you can pick all different kinds of backgrounds. And then you go to this bottom right where this plus is. And when you go up to this plus, it's going to add your separate little box here, your pad where you can write. And what's cool is, Memphis, and I can write things here, but look, I can upload a document here. This is very media rich. It can be media rich. So I can upload a document, I can put hyperlinks here, I can take pictures here. I have these 3 dots too. So go on and add some media if you want to, because I can pick a file from my computer. I can go to Google right here and search for an image. I can take photos. Like I said, I can put audio recordings here. So think about leaving audio feedback or leave audio requests of any kind. You can record your screen. You can put images. You can draw here. So let me show you what a group did a while back. So this was the same kind of session. And they've put all kinds of things here. Like here's someone from France, and they put a picture here. And then they put ThingLink here with their own little Bitmoji thing. Someone drew here. And on this one, they started adding things that they did to make learning dynamic and fun. So some of them said, I do jokes and puns. Some of them said, I do a word wall, a Quizlet, a Kahoot. So on your wall right now, this is your Padlet wall. Go on and, someone's doing, there's Dallas. All right, and someone's putting, wow, awesome. And Alberta, good. So now I'm seeing you coming out. So I'm going to give you just a second to play with that. If you'll just play with that for a second. I'm going to let you go on and play with that before we move forward. And I'm going to look over here at the chat again and see one other thing. I have 2 monitors going, so when I look away from you, that's what I'm doing, just so you'll know. Alrighty, I'm seeing we have Memphis, Paraguay, awesome. Utah, Glendale, California. La Jolla, I love La Jolla too. There's Bev. So it's a great way to get some quick feedback. I've actually used this with a district in Texas. There's something called the Texas Academies District. And in Texas, I've actually been able to use this and be able to have lots of feedback from different campuses all over the state on different things for distance learning. And it's been a great tool. This has probably been the most favorite tool of all. And so when you do a Padlet, to get to one, you just go to padlet.com if you wanted to create one. And when you go to padlet.com, and let me make sure I'm seeing the right screen. Yep, I'm on the right screen. Here's padlet.com. And I would see, you know, I can make a Padlet. You can use your Microsoft account or Google account or make your own account to be able to do this. And so I can make a Padlet. And when I make a Padlet, I get this great kind of templates I can use, all different kinds of things I can use if I want to. I pick the kind of format I want. I can join a Padlet here. So you don't have to have a password, it's just public. So for your kids, you could use the same password all the time if you want to use a password. There are also Padlets that are shared, you know, that people have shared, so you can share your Padlet. And so there's a gallery of Padlets here too, if you want to look at some of the examples that others put up here. So this is some good curricular examples to look for. And it's easy to make, I mean, super easy. So when I just go make a Padlet and I pick, I'm just going to have a wall, which is what I had. It's going to start it. Oh, I have chocolate cupcakes. What do you know? And I can pick my backgrounds, and then I just put my details in here. And here's the wallpaper. I have all kinds of backgrounds I can choose from. So I can just do a texture. I could do a, if I go back, I could do a picture, whatever I want to do for my Padlet. So there we go. Now we have a jetpack. So you get the idea. That's Padlets. So I want to share that tool with you because it's one of the ones that people absolutely love. And I'll give you a trick. I'll tell you one little trick about Padlet. Because if you have Padlet and you're wanting to use it, then after you've used the free version a few times, they'll tell you you've maxed out the number of Padlets you can use. But there's a tip. If you archive some of the older ones, you can still access them. And that'll take your count down where you can make new ones without having to sign up for a paid account. So if you get that message ever, just go to archive, and you should be able to just archive them that way. So I want to share that with you. Let me see if I can find my PowerPoint again, wherever I put it, because I've hidden so many things here, and I'm going to get back to that. But I see that one of you said, and it's MM Shaw, so I see that you said that you have been, here it is, I think it's, there we go, that you've used this for PD. So do you want to open your mic and tell us how you've used it for PD? You're welcome to if you'd like to, or you can put in the chat. I'd love to know how you use it for your PD. And if you don't want to open your mic, that's fine, but you're welcome to, or you can add to the chat. We'll just wait a bit and see if she answers. If not, we'll just move on. All right, well, if you decide you want to, just let us know. So next week I got to talk about PowerPoint. And so there are so many cool ways for kids to be engaged and involved with PowerPoints, and it really promotes student agency and collaboration. One of the things I love about PowerPoint is you have the ability to work on group projects. And so we've done this a lot, maybe for background information. So rather than you always setting the stage as you start a new unit, you can use a PowerPoint to have students do the introduction of the topic. So let's give an example of World War II. And so we want to do famous leaders of World War II. I'll put them in groups, they'll go research them, and they'll make a collaborative presentation because they can all be working collaboratively on one set of slides. And each group would do a different leader, and then they could present to the whole group. And then that way, when they present to the whole group, now they're providing the background information, they're engaged, the kids are listening to each other, and as a teacher, you're still listening, you're still facilitating, you're noticing key points that aren't brought in, you're asking important questions of inquiry that really drive home the messages you want to get about those leaders. And it's a great way to set that background information rather than you always talking to the kids. Let the kids have that student agency. It's also a great way for kids to demonstrate understanding rather than always doing tests or something. They could demonstrate their understanding through a PowerPoint slide presentation. So there's just numerous ways you can use this, and I love the collaborative slideshows a lot. So think about it, putting them again in partners or groups for this, thinking about introducing a topic, like I said, when I gave you that example a minute ago. Choose your own ending stories are fun, where you put interactive, and I'm going to show you this, how you put interactive hyperlinks to different slides. If they, for example, if you were saying you go to a trip in Bali, we're going to Bali today, we can land in Bali, we take a Jeep out into the jungle, and we're in the jungle and the Jeep breaks. What are we going to do? And you have maybe three options. I'm going to swim across this little river. I'm going to climb over the mountain. I'm going to ride this bicycle I found on the side of the road. I don't know, I'm making things up. And with each one that they click, they get another circumstance, and they pick that ending, and they just navigate like a choose your own ending book. And those are hyper slides, so you can do that as well. That's a fun activity. It can be based on something that you're doing in class, not always fictional. It could be something really important that relates to a unit of study or a topic that they're studying. And then how do they demonstrate their understanding? We talked about that. Presentations, giving collaborative presentations, especially because presentations and knowing how to present is such a powerful tool. It's important for career and college readiness that they feel comfortable in today's world to be able to stand in front of a room of people and present. And the best way to do that is with your friends by your side as a group. Yes, and the more you practice, the easier it gets. It's hard at first. There are adults that are still terrified of it, but if you're doing it regularly in practice, it's just having a conversation with a bigger group. And then talking to them on how to design them. So it's about story. It's not just slides of tons of text. You want just some images, some media, limited with good design, and it's about story, like it has a beginning, middle, and an end, so that it's designed well. And the concepts that they're sharing in the audible part of the presentation when they're talking, or whether it's recorded or whatever, are things they know, and they may have a few bullet points to guide them, but they're not putting paragraphs of text being read to them, which you've all seen someone do that and how painful that is. You can also use it for an e-portfolio. I've seen some great e-portfolios where every slide is a great piece of academic work, or an art piece. I've seen a great art portfolio, and use the PowerPoint for that. And you can make ebooks this way too, because you can resize the size of the PowerPoint slides. They don't have to be the size you see. You can go up to view and change the slide size. And in the slide size, you can make it the size of a document. You can make it whatever size you want, like an 8.5 by 11, vertical rather than horizontal. And that's really good for if you're using a lot of graphics, because if you're in Word and trying to use a lot of graphics and put things above and behind and around, it gets messy. Where if you're in PowerPoint, it'll just move right in really easily. So this is your next activity I've done for you. And so this is active learning today. I'm trying to do with you a little bit, is to have you do some things. And so I'm going to put this link in the chat as well. There you go. I think that'll work. Try that. There's no password this time. And I want you to go to this bit.ly, this slide. So this is just a Word document that's been shared, and hopefully I've checked the sharing, so hopefully I did it correctly. And in this Word document that's been shared, you will each be able to find a line that's empty, try to stay in the same row. I mean, try to not leave huge gaps in it, but if somebody's on 4, go to 5. If they're on 5, go to 6. And let's go on and let's put your name by one of the slide numbers, because we're going to use that in a minute. Oh, look at us here. This is, I've come back to this. There's Croatia. Yay, Croatia joined us today. We're from all over the place. I love this. In Montreal, we have some more people. There's, oh, Croatia looks gorgeous. Maybe I need to put it on my bucket list. Look how beautiful that is. So yeah, palette's super awesome. Oh, I love this. I'm guessing that's Greece, maybe? This one up here. That's beautiful. I don't know, anywhere looks good to me right now. You know what I'm saying, right? It's like we've all been kind of stuck, so we're all ready to go somewhere. All right, so let me find, I just want to make sure I'm on the right deck here. Here we go, here's slides. My slides. So let's see if you're having trouble getting in here. I see anybody's name here. Yeah, there they come in. Yay, you found it. So the way I like to use an interactive one word slide like this, the way I love to do this is that what you can do with this is they could sign up for a research project topic. They could be putting the independent reading book they're going to be reading. Or if you're doing a collaborative slideshow with several people, they can pick their slide ahead of time. Now, as your students get used to working a collaborative slideshow, they won't need to do this. You won't need to add templates. So the one I've given you to work in today in just a minute actually does have templates, kind of a quick one that I did real fast. I'll show it to you. But you don't have to do it that way. You can make it much easier, especially if the students are older. For younger students, you may want that little template kind of format, which was super easy to make. I'll show it to you. So now you have this. We even have some great things telling you what you do. So that's lovely. Yeah, I like seeing all these. We're all homebound teachers right now, Marilyn, that's for sure. Yep, all kinds of things. Alrighty, so you see how you're picking your slide. This when you first start is a good way to do it so that people don't get in there and walk all over each other. And you're going to have to set the norms for your class when you're doing a collaborative slideshow, that you only work in your own slide. You never bother anybody else's slide. If you change the background, it's going to change it for everybody, or the design, the style. So you have to learn which way changes it just for your slide and which way changes it for everybody. And that's just part of the learning. If you do that today, it's okay. Just undo it, edit, undo, or you know, whatever you need to do, Command Z to Control Z to undo it. And all of that's fine. It's just part of the learning. So you've done that. So it looks like we've all picked our slide. And like I said, when they're older, they can just make a new slide and do it themselves. So let me go on down here and let me find my slide, wrong slideshow. I've got too many browsers open. Here's PowerPoint. This is what I want. So the next window, let me make it big so you're not getting dizzy looking at my screen. This is your next one you're going to. You're going to go to anywhere. Oh, it's 1910 or 2010. Wrong. It's a typo. It's not 2010. It's 2020. But I want you to go to this one now. bit.ly/qtravel. Or bit.ly. It might be bit.ly.com. I may have forgotten the com there. So try bit.ly.com. Let me put in the chat. Oh, I see the difference in your home. Yeah, I did it wrong. Don't use that. It was late last night. I tried this one. Try the one in the chat, and let me fix this for you. It should be bit.ly.com/qtravel. I don't know what I was doing there. Obviously, I wasn't doing it right, but let me go back and get out of all this and take us to where we're going to see. Actually, here, I can change it right here. Let me go down to it and find it, and we'll change it here so you'll see it. And I think this will fix it. Let's make it 2020. Oh, I can't change it. There's a screenshot, but let me take you there. It's bit.ly. It's in the chat. bit.ly.com again /qtravel. My bad. Sorry. And you're going to make mistakes too. You just have to learn to flow and be flexible, especially when you're going through all these tools at once, like I am. So I'm going to fix it here for you because this probably isn't going to work. And let's fix it 20. Yeah, what I did, I just took a screenshot of the slide earlier. So we're going to do bit.ly.com. That should do it. All right. And I already see some of you are starting to, well, not yet. Let me see if I see anybody in here yet. So let's see if we get, I see people coming in now. So this is a collaborative slideshow we're going to work in. bit.ly.com/qtravel. This doesn't need to be uppercase. It's just that. And so there you go. And I thought I changed it to 20, but I didn't. No, it's finally right. All right, bit.ly.com/qtravel. And I see you coming into the slideshow because I see that a guest contributor. Yeah, you're all guest contributors. Now, when you do this with your students and you have them, you assign it through Teams or assignments or whatever, and they're logged in, instead of GC for guest contributor, I would actually see what student is working on what slide. So this is your assignment. And I'm going to give you a couple minutes to do it. You're going to pick your slide, the slide number you chose earlier. So you'll look down the row, find the slide number you chose earlier. You'll write your name in the title bar, then write where you wish you could travel right now. And I think I want to go to Croatia right now, or Greece, one of those. And then when you use although Montreal sounds good too. When you use then use the online picture tool to add 1 or 2 photos or a video, but we're not going to take a lot of time here because we have a lot to do still. And then you can comment. So this is an example, just something easy. I wish I were doing a photo shoot in the Serengeti. It may be a reality and a couple pictures. And so for all of these, all I did was make just this. It's just 2 text boxes. And I put, you go up here, you edit that, take that away and put your name. You click in this one and you can take away all the text. These are just placeholder text. And then when you go to put in an image, you just go to Insert Pictures. And you'll go to Bing Pictures. Just go to Bing Pictures if you're in the cloud version of PowerPoint. And just, if I want to find Croatia, they've taught us all the way to go there, there's Croatia. And I could pick an image and I can insert it. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes just to play in that clever slideshow just for a second, and then we'll move on. So go on and work in your slides. And as a teacher, I can be watching and see how you're doing, which is always fun. And then when you get ready to present, I have it too. And you don't have to come plug them and unplug to present. It's all right here. So I'll let you do that for just a second. And then we will move on. Just want you to play for a minute. I see pictures coming in. Wendy, yours looks like a lovely place. I haven't looked to see where it is yet, but I'm ready to go with Wendy wherever she's going. Jody's got a nice beach there. Let's see where Yashi's going. Oh, are we going to Italy? She's got there's pasta for Yashi. Someone may be putting their kitchen or their living room, since that's the only place we get to go lately, or our bedrooms. So you're getting the idea, and we're not going to spend a lot of time here, but see the Maldives. Look, Wendy goes, "Why? Have a look. That looks fabulous. That's gorgeous. That water is like too pretty to be true." And Elizabeth wants to go to Egypt, and Jody wants to go to Fiji. That looks pretty nice too. Sun, sand, go, go, go. And so you're getting the idea. So there's Morocco. That looks gorgeous too. I would take that one. And the culture and the food looks lovely. Oh, and they even changed the background of their slide. That's nice. Very nice. And here's, I don't even know if that's in Croatia. Man, I need to book a trip to Croatia someday. And there's Greece. I thought that was Greece. I would love to go to Greece. Greece and Italy are two. I've traveled the world. I've worked in lots of different countries, but I have not been there. Oh, that's beautiful. Is that Amsterdam maybe? Yep, it is. I was guessing that was Amsterdam. Been there a few times. That's pretty too. But we get the idea. So you get it, and then you could, and what I have students do when they're working in groups and they've made their slides, I've always had a rubric for them. So another idea is like states of or countries. You could do state birds, flowers, mottos with younger children. You could do animals of the tundra with different ecosystems. You could also do, for our Spanish teacher once did different cities in Spain, and each group had Barcelona and Madrid, and then they did culture, historical figures, and they presented those different things, those types of topics. So you can give them real guidelines and of how many slides and what should be on it, and talk to them about design and all those things. And you can really refine it as much as you want, and the rubric helps. But when they present it, I always have each student present to their own slide. So they talk to their own slide. They may present it as a group, but they're going to talk to their own slide. So you get the idea for that. So I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint down here and pull it up and see where we are here. Let me say from current slide. So we did that. We've been anywhere in the world. And this is an idea. This is those hyperlinks and the interactivity you can do within a slideshow. So this is great for demonstrating understanding or choosing your own ending or an adventure. Now, the trick to this is, at this point, it's not in the online version of PowerPoint, so you're going to have to bring it down into the desktop version. So I'm going to do that for you in a second. But you're going to be able to see it, and you'll be able to view it, and you'll be able to go in and click to present it online and see how it interacts. So on my next slide, this will tell you, and I don't think I did that one right either. So let's try that. It was about 1 o'clock when I did these. Obviously, it was changing links and making new ones, and obviously didn't do very well. So let me do this. Let me give you that one too. Well, it may work. Try it and see. I just want to see if it works if I copy it and put it in there. Because I think I was pasting those straight from Bitly actually, but it didn't work. I didn't think it would. So we're going to do it the other way. We're going to do bit.ly/qplanets. Oh, I'll show you how to get the pictures. So you can get the pictures outside, but I'll show you again how I did that because I think it's really important. Try that. Let's see if that one works. You'll have to copy it because they didn't put the HTTP. And I'll go back and show you to get the pictures. No, it doesn't. I just totally had a brain relapse last night. bit.ly/qplanets. And I'm going to put the hyperlink here, and you should be able to click and go and not think anymore. Obviously, I need to do that. I've been going nonstop today. http:// Try that one. See where that takes you. Make sure you get there. I'm going to do it too. No, let me just take, it's not going to work for you, me. Is it working for any of you? Because it's not working for me. So let me look at it. I'm going to go look at it right now. And it is right here, planets in our galaxy. And I'm going to go to the share. So we'll just see how I did it when I shared it, because I thought it would take it that way. But what I can do also, I can just copy the link directly here, except I don't want you to edit it. I'm going to go share again. And I'm going to just say that this one you're just going to view. So I'm going to apply it, and I'm going to copy that link. Copy it, and let me go put it in the chat for you, because we know this one will work. It's not the bit.ly, but we know it'll work.
Julie.
Yeah.
I got there using bit.ly without the dot after the T
Good.
and the L.
Oh, I put
bit.ly.
Oh, yeah, you can't put the dot there. Thank you. That was my, I tell you, I've been doing this for 5 hours straight. I'm a little tired. So I need a break. I need lunch. Good job. Thank you. So bit.ly.com, no dot, /QPlanet. So I didn't do everything wrong, but I was close. Anyway, so there you go with this. And so now you should be here where you can actually use it, and just click on present. So you can either go to slideshow and present from the beginning, or down the bottom here, you can click the little slideshow icon and present it. And now you'll be able to play. Now this is just a working one that I've done that is just, here you go, that is just for fun. So if you click on Mercury, it's actually going to take you to some information about Mercury. And then when you get there, you either have to go back with your arrow, or you can put a home button here to take you back home. So there's home. The others are the same thing. They're all interactive. So I'm going to show you quickly how to create those, but I also want to show you one other thing. I'm going to put a new slide in. Insert slide. Just a blank one, because I want to show that person how I was able to add an image. So under insert, if I go to pictures, I can just go to Bing Pictures. I can upload them, but if I just go, and I can get them from Drive, if I go to Bing Pictures, it's going to open my online picture browser right there within PowerPoint. So that's how I got them. Then I would just search for, so there's Greece, you know, that kind of thing. So, and then I would just click it, and I would hit insert, and now I have the Parthenon in my image. So I just want you to see that. I'm going to delete that, but I want to show you quickly how I was able to do interactive slides. And this is the part that I told you it only works in the desktop version, or I was getting ready to tell you, because Microsoft has the browser apps. We always want our kids to start in Office 365 in the cloud. We want them in the cloud in their apps. That's how we always want them to start. However, what we'll find out too is if we look for some features, they're not going to necessarily be there. So what we might want to do is check the desktop app. And this is one feature you won't find. So I'm going to open the desktop app. It's going to click, and it's going to open PowerPoint. So in almost every product Microsoft has, they're working hard to make them the same experience, whether you're in the cloud or you're on the desktop app. That's their goal. It's not quite there yet, so sometimes you have to go down to the desktop, even though we want our kids to be in the cloud. So this is pretty much how I was creating my slides. And so let me just delete this and we'll remake it. So this is the slideshow we had. This is what we were looking at. It's the same thing. So how did I get this home button, and how did I make these interact? So you can just watch, or if you want to go to the desktop app and make us a couple slides and just put some words in there to play, you're welcome to do that. Because of time, though, it's already 12. We have 15 minutes. I think I just watch for a second. And what you can do is when you're on one, like right now, I'm going to add a new slide at the end. This is Pluto. So I'm going to add a new slide. It's going to be called Pluto. It's just going to be a title like that. I'm just going to call it Pluto. I'm not worried about the format. So there's my Pluto slide. I could put images and my text and everything else. So, but what I don't have on my new slide, and notice the home button came in by itself, and I'll tell you why in just a second. What I don't have is a way to get there. So I'm going to go insert a text box. So I'm going up here, I'm just going to text box. I'm just going to put another text box here, and I'm going to call it Pluto, if I can spell it correctly. There we go, Pluto. And then when I click on it, I can right click on it and go to link. I could also go to insert link. And rather than picking one of these in my list, I'm going to the bottom where it says insert link. And when it comes up, I get this dialog box. And this dialog box allows me to find a place in this document. So I can put a hyperlink to an existing web page or a file, to an email address or another place in this document. And I want to find the Pluto slideshow, and that's it, and a hyperlink there. So now when I go to my presentation again, if I click on Pluto, there it is, and I go home. So that's how you create a hyperlink. It's really easy, and sometimes you just have to do it a couple times to remember the steps, but I wrote the text, I right-clicked, I went to insert link. Let me just edit that link and remove it. I'm going to remove it and do it again. Hyperlink it, edit the text, or highlight the text, right-click on it, go to link, and go to insert link at the bottom, and then say place in this document and find your slide, and voila, you are done. Now the way I did the home button was from the what's called the Slide Master, and for years I did presentations and never really understood the Slide Master, and it's a huge gift. So if you're in View, either in the desktop app or the Office 365 app, either one, you go to Slide Master. And in Slide Master now, you can make the master slide for anything. Now, the tricky part here is it always opens up on the second slide, which is one of the layouts. There are all these different kinds of layouts. But if I wanted to go to every single slide, no matter the layout, I need to go to the top master slide. And this is where I did the home button. So I'm not going to take this away. I'm just going to show you how I did it. I could have a picture. I could put an image of a home. I could do whatever I want. But for this one, I just did a button. So I took like a button and I drew it. And then I can change the color of it, just like I would insert a fill anywhere else. I can change whatever color I want. So the shape fill could be this pretty turquoise. The outline could be black, all those kinds of things. And then I can put text inside of it. So if I just click on it here, there we go. If I click on it, I can write in it. There we go. Back home. And I can change that text color to be anything I want to. And so we'll make that text be black. There we go. So what happened, if you look at all these slides, it's on every slide now. And when I go to leave this, I have to go back up here to Slide Master, which is Slide Master, click on it, and then I close my master view. And now, oh, well, lovely, it's under that, but there it is. It's black back home, and it's on every slide. And if I present it, it's going to take me, I haven't hyperlinked it. Missed a step there. So that's a good thing. I don't always do everything right. So we're going to go back and we'll go to View Slide Master, and we'll really quickly hyperlink it. So now we have this. Our Slide Master, we want to go to the master at the top. We're going to click on it. And now we're going to do our little link. So we do link again, go through that whole process, insert link, and we're going to take it back home, tell it okay. And now we're going to go, I didn't get all of it. I would need to get it all. But you get the idea. We'll just do back. We're just not going to do that right now. And go back and close the master view. And now if I'm in present, because I want to move on, I can click back and it takes me home. So there you go. You have the idea. Now I've completely messed up this slideshow. You get the idea. So that's that in the slideshow. And let me go back here then. And this one, let me fix this while I can. Bit.ly. So I don't forget, because I'm going to give you the PDF, bit.ly.com/QPlanets. Planet or planet, do you remember which one it was? I can tell. Planets, good. All right, I think I did that right that time. All right, so we're going to go on now. I'm going to show you a couple of more things because I have a lot I want to do to you still. I just wish we could be here longer, but we will do what we can. So I want to go to the slideshow, present from the current slide, and the next thing I'm going to show you is Edpuzzle. And if you haven't used Edpuzzle, it is so fabulous. And with Edpuzzle, you now have interactive videos with quizzing. So when you have your students watch a a video that you've put in, Microsoft Teams or assignments or whatever for flipped classroom, blended learning. How do you know they really watched it? And how do you make sure they stay engaged? How do you know they understood it? So you can build in quizzing really easily with Edpuzzle. And we're not going to do it today. I'm going to show it to you and let you play just for a second in one. But it builds in it with any YouTube kind of video, Khan Academies, any of those. It'll put it and make it interactive with quizzing, which helps with all these things you're seeing here, that active learning, that accountability to make sure they saw it. So you get a teacher dashboard. You can see who watched it, how their answers were. You'll get their scores on that dashboard from their answers. And so when you go to Edpuzzle, here are some of the things you can see. Edpuzzle, you have Edpuzzle. That means you can go look at what other teachers have created in Edpuzzle. And you know how we always like to borrow the ideas from other teachers because they have great ideas? You can borrow their ideas and edit the questions to be your own. You can put in a topic at the top and search for digital citizenship and come up with 100 different things. You can do YouTube, Khan Academy, National Geographic, TED Talks, all of those things. And so I love being able to use Edpuzzle to do those kinds of things. Let me get this back where I can see it again, because I kept making it bigger for you. And so that's a great tool. And if you go to, I was really on a roll with this, wasn't I? I don't know why I did that, but here we go again, bit.ly.com/QPuzzle. My brain quit last night. There you go, it's in the chat. So if you go to that one, that should take you here, and it's one you can play in. And so if I'm going to go there now, let me just take you there so you can see it. I put it in the chat correctly, bit.ly.com/ I'm going to fix it here, bit.ly.com. I think this is how it was actually copying out of Bitly, and I don't know why it was doing that because I don't think it should have done that. I think I've always changed it this way. I want to blame somebody else, so I'm going to. They can't argue with me today. So there we go. Oops, get that one and move it. Now it'll be right when I resave. I might resave your PDF. I want everything to be right. That's why I'm doing that. So we're not going to make one today. This is what it tells you to do because that was for a longer workshop. But if you go to bit.ly.com/Edpuzzle, you should be able to see, let me close this one. Lots of little windows going on here. Let me get to my browser. You should be able to see how it works. So this is what it looks like within Bitly, within Edpuzzle, bit.ly.com/QPuzzle, and there it comes. And so you can play this one for just a second if you want to. So as I'm watching my video here, I have to skip my ad. Hold on. Go skip ad. Okay. Now as I'm watching my video, these teardrops I'm seeing are where quiz numbers and quizzes are still built in. I'll move it on ahead. So it's going to stop right now, and it's going to say to the ancient Romans, what did Mars symbolize? So you can just keep adding things, and the students will answer the questions. There's short text answers. There's short quiz answers, like multiple choice from like a form. So lots of different ways to make your videos engaging and have accountability, which is awesome. I mean, you will love it, and it's super easy to learn, not hard at all. So that's Edpuzzle, and I'm going to my next favorite one, and let me present from this slide, and that is Flipgrid. So Flipgrid, if you've ever used Flipgrid, it's awesome. It's using the tools the kids love for Snapchat and TikTok and all those by making selfie videos. And so they can make videos, and there's a whole session on Flipgrid. I can't get into all of it today, but it has so many ways you can use it. Some teachers use it for all their content. And so in Flipgrid, think of it as student voice and choice. I mean, student voice and student agency, formative assessment, but it's great for social emotional learning. Quick feedback when they walk in the door. Do a quick Flipgrid on this. Tell me how what you're thinking about yesterday's readings or assignments, and they can see each other's if you want them to, or they can be private. And then you can see all the entries, and you can make them public, or they can be public to begin with and react to each other's. And so it's a great tool for checking understanding as a bell ringer, or at the end of a class as an exit ticket. but just can be used in 100 different ways. And when you think about your ESL students or your foreign language students, now they can be speaking in their language, whatever language you want them to speak in, because it's auditory and it's video, or they don't have to have both. Or if they can't show their face for any legal reasons, you can put stickers and emojis on their faces. And so you can divide Flipgrids into whatever you want them to be. So a grid is your classroom. Like if you have a self-contained classroom, it'd be Mrs. Reed's 5th grade class. If you had period 1, period 2, period 3 for world history, you would have one for each of those, probably for each world history class. So depending, how you teach is how you're going to do that. And then you can make topics within that as that are focused on units of study or however you want to do it. I know a teacher who used it for one student to watch their improvement in English all year long, be able to go back and show how much they'd improved. So if you want to go look at this one really quick, flipgrid.com/Q-Microsoft, and I'll put it here. You can see what another class did, another group of teachers, when we have more time for this. But I'm just going to quickly show you this because we're almost out of time, and I wish we had another 15 minutes at least. Good, there's something else there. That's awesome. So someone else loves it. Yeah, it's cool. I love Flipgrid. So you can go in here. You'll eventually want to sign up with a teacher account, but now don't log in and just go here, and you will see what I'm getting ready to show you. And let me close out of a couple of things here. We don't need this one, and we don't need this one. I love closing windows. It's like cleaning house. You have to get things to go away. It's just a whole lot easier. So as a teacher, here's my grid, and I can sign in with Microsoft, Google account, whatever. And so this is my professional development grid, but this would be like your class grid. And then here's the one that I was sending you to. So you would get here, and the students can join with a code, and they can have a code to just an individual topic or a code to the whole grid. And then when they get here, there's all kinds of settings you can do, like I said, to make it private or public, moderated or not. And this is the teacher. I'm seeing all the students who've responded here, how many views they've had, what other people have looked at them. And so this is someone that must have watched the video remotely because it's in June, and this was done on May 29th. And so actually in that video, we went into it a little bit more, but if you're a student, what you would be seeing is this, and I'm just going to quickly show you. There's a prompt. What is a silver lining you've had with your students during this time of distance learning? And then as a teacher or somebody responding, I'm turning off my camera, I would just click the plus, and I can log in however I want to log in with Google or Microsoft. It doesn't really matter, just so I get in here. And I get this screen where I can now start recording. And so I can record my video. And so I have all kinds of things like filters and text. I can draw and annotate on. I can make screencasting recordings here. I can get a whiteboard. I can embed pictures and have them on the side. All kinds of options. I can put my text of what I want to say up here. I can also pop this open to see what the prompt was again. So that's there, and then I just record, and it counts me down, and I say, this is Flipgrid, I hope you like it, and I stop it, and I go to the next one, and I can add more videos. I can keep adding to it. It has you take a selfie, or if you don't want to take a selfie, you can turn that off for all your students, and then you submit it, and now you have QR codes. You can download it or whatever, but it's completed, and now I'm right here in my dashboard. So you will love Flipgrid, and if you want to use that, I might be doing another course on it. I know others are, and just look at the schedules and see. They're also, all these courses are now on YouTube, so you can look at the YouTube courses too, and go through that. This little exercise, it will let you work through that and kind of learn them. So in closing, I'm just going to show you the resources I have here. Just think about how to use choice and voice in HyperDocs and choice boards and learning menus. These are other things you can do to demonstrate understanding other than always taking a test. This is a quick video that talks to you about COVA, which is that choice, ownership, voice, and authenticity. HyperDocs are kind of like what I showed you before with the planets exercise, where there's different activities on different parts of the document, and the students have some choice on how they learn things. So maybe one student learns better watching a video, One learns better reading a book. One learns better, going to Khan Academy. So you can give them options of how they learn and then also how they demonstrate their understanding. Lots of different ways to look at Flipgrids and how they're arranged. So sometimes they're arranged differently than this one. This is one way where they have that standard engage, explore, explain, apply, share, reflect, and extend, which gives extensions for those who finish early. It provides them an opportunity for personalized learning and independent learning. And then I love the tic-tac-toe choice board where they have to do the one in the middle and then they pick two other options to make a tic-tac-toe. And for those who came late, you're getting these slides, so don't feel like you have to crazily write all this down. And so it's really the tic-tac-toe choice board ends up being a PowerPoint slideshow that you're embedding things in and hyperlinking. Sway is a great one for quick presentations. Like if they're doing a PowerPoint for understanding, Sway is awesome. It looks professional, super easy. Always thinking about using forms for different things. And I love these photo challenges where you take pictures on the left from the real world, pictures on both of these from real art, and then your students reenact them. That's a really fun one. And here's where they got their art from. Facebook templates are fun. I've seen them done on famous people in history besides Bobby Kennedy, but thinking what would their Facebook page look like? And you might want to call it fake book because one parent I heard got upset that they thought it was a real Facebook page. And then this is a collaborative slideshow. This was another idea that I've had for a longer session where you would have time to go out and explore some of these and make a collaborative slideshow like we did before. And then just here are some more tools to consider. I love the Rewrite Think trading cards at the very bottom. Newsly is awesome. Newsly or Newslia, how you pronounce it, is awesome. I always get that one confused. And then there's ways like with the choose your own endings, you can make horror stories and things that are really fun, but lots of templates in there for you. Woo, and that's it. Don't download the presentation slides for about 5 minutes because as soon as we're done, I'm going to throw up the new ones that have the right links on it. But that is it. There's your link to the presentation slides. If you go to, and we don't know if it's going to work that way. So if that doesn't work, try this. It's either going to be bit.ly.com. I swear that's supposed to work because that came straight from them. I didn't make that down, but it'll be that either way. So just go to either one of those, bit.ly.com/Q-slides, or try it the other way too and see what happens. And download your slides. I'll be investigating that to see if I've lost my mind. And I'm going to try it here right now and just see. And that's it for today. I mean, you all heard a lot in a short period of time. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. It's got to be the other way. So we're going to fix it. So just know you can't do all these tools. Fine, do what you're comfortable with and you already know, and then add things as let me type this. There you go. Add tools as you go. Start with one that's really super easy like Padlet, and then add things as you go as you need to. But don't feel like you have to use all of these. But find one that's going to work for you. And think about those other components I shared with you too. And I fixed your link. I'm going to upload your new slides now. And I'm going to stop presenting and see if anybody has any questions. And I'm also going to stop recording. So let me stop presenting. See if anybody has any questions. And you may open your mic and ask me any questions you'd like to. I know that was a lot really fast, but feel free to ask any questions you'd like. Yeah, and in about 5 minutes, I'll have that up there for you to be able to access. So that will all be there for you in just a little bit. Hope you got some good ideas, and I'll put the PDF for you. The one that's there is fine. It just doesn't have the right links in it because obviously the copying I was doing was wrong the way I copied it. Glad you were here. Happy you joined us. I'm going to stop the recording and be sure and check q.org/Microsoft for more because we're doing these through AUKUS and we love having you join lots of them in the future. And there are great ones. There are also some that you can find the videos for on YouTube. So keep coming back. We love teaching you and helping you. It's a crazy